See the numbers on your side?
I do. And then it says go.
Hey, kia ora. Helen Brums here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1880. And as you can see, Nicole is back. Woohoo! Nicole, welcome back. And Nicole is our functional bloodwork specialist. And she is just absolutely amazing, full of lots of love and light and everything else that goes with it, and helping us live our best life now by taking care of our number one asset, which is our health. So, Nicole, welcome back. It's so good to have you back again. And you're in your new office.
I am in my new office. So thanks for noticing. I love it. It makes me feel good. Super happy.
I just like how it matches your glasses.
I think you're the only person that says, oh, your office matches your glasses, or your glasses match your office.
Well, you could have used the glasses as inspiration. I don't know. But tonight we're going to be talking about food and lifestyle choices. There is a lot of stuff out there on all the different platforms talking about do this, do that, and, you know, stand on your head and spin around 3 times and you'll lose 20 pounds or whatever. And
yeah.
So I think it's important to how do we weed through all of the stuff?
Oh my gosh, there is so much stuff out there. And I think the biggest thing that has really got me lately is how many people they get blood work back, or they get labs back, or they get, or sometimes their doctor just says their labs are okay and they don't feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just feel like crap. But oftentimes it amazes me how many people will say, well, I can take a pill for that, and I don't have to make any lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And so it's like really breaking my heart lately. I've had this happen over and over and over again in the last 6 weeks, where people are coming to me and they're like, well, I don't need to change my diet, or I don't need to add any walking or exercise, or I don't need to do this. I can literally just take these 2 pills that my doctor gave me. And what happens is when we start taking those 2 pills, it literally masks the issue, right?
Yeah.
It masks the issues. It just doesn't help them. And I think the frustrating thing for me is, why don't people want to change their lifestyle? Why are they so afraid to change a few things in their life? And I think that's been like my burning question in the last month. Like, what makes people so afraid to make some simple changes? Why are they so reluctant to giving up, lots of caffeine, or lots of sugar, or lots of who knows what, cake, cake.
Cake once in a while is okay.
Once in a while is okay. I eat pie, I eat cake, I just don't eat pie and cake every day, right? And so I just kind of really want to talk about that psychology behind that, of why don't people want to make the changes that is actually good for them. You hear people saying, oh, I'm going to live till I'm 100, or I want to live till I'm 86. So
and they're a blob.
And they're not doing anything to help themselves other than, and here's the thing, you guys, if you need prescription medicine, if there is something out there that you truly need, I am not that holistic person that says, don't take this or don't take that. But when we're talking about things like metformin, cholesterol medicine, most people, I'm going to say 99.9% of the people, do not need blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, and they certainly don't need medication that, unless they're taking insulin, and then we can get them cut back on insulin for any kind of diabetes. All of those things, even heart health, you guys, can be taken care of with proper nutrition and proper nutrition, and maybe some supplementation and lifestyle changes. And some of those lifestyle changes might not be what they think. Like sleep is so important, right? How we go to sleep is so important.
Look at the bags under my eyes.
I just came down. I just did 5 days of travel. So, and here's the thing. Here's a good lesson. I just did 5 days of travel. I probably should have blocked off my calendar today. right? To take care of myself. And I didn't do that. So, prime example, like if you have those travel days, if you're traveling, whether it's for vacation or work, we should probably block off at least half a day to recuperate from that travel. And you guys, I'm crazy. I hopped right into work at 8 a.m. this morning. It's now 6 o'clock in the evening, and I have been going strong since that time. But I can promise you that tonight, I'm going to do the things that I need to do. I'll probably take a bath with some Epsom salt. Maybe I'll watch a funny movie. I need some humor tonight. Sometimes you just know when you need some humor. So I think I'll watch a funny movie. My husband's not home for the evening, so I'm going to probably pick something that he would never watch, right? And so, so sometimes we need to do those things too, like things that make us feel good and things that make us feel happy. So, like when you travel, taking that time for yourself, just to readjust and get the sleep. The sleep is so important. I don't think people realize, like, our bodies heal when they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not sleeping all night long, then guess what? You're not going to feel good all day long. And if you're waking up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning and you can't go back to sleep for an hour or 2 or 3, you probably have a cortisol level or a glucose issue going on, where the stress is catching up to you. Your glucose or your cortisol go up, makes your body rise, and then it's very hard to go back to sleep for a couple more hours. And so some of the worst things that we can do during that time is literally get on our phones.
I just pick up my Kindle and read.
Yeah. So anything that has a blue, like the light in it, is really, a Kindle's not bad because it has that,
It's that paper, what they call the paper white or whatever it is.
Paper white. But when we have these bright screens like this, it's so bad, and it will actually keep us awake instead of putting us to sleep.
Yeah, well, the last 2 nights I've had Zeffie wake me up around 2 o'clock in the morning because she wants to go. I don't know, something's going on with her, and I don't know what it is. And she wants to go outside, and then she woke me up again at 4:30 this morning, and so I got up and I said, right, let's go outside. So her idea of going outside this morning at 4:30 was, I open the door, she walks out, sniffs the air, turns around and walks back in and heads off to the bedroom. I don't know what. Maybe she had heard something and she was checking it out or something. I don't know, but that's what she did at 4:30. And I looked at her and I went, really? You woke me up to do that?
Right.
So, yeah. But I will tell you this, for everybody that's listening, if they're talking about, they're not sure if they want to make changes or not. Ever since Nicole has been coming on as a regular guest, I have been taking notes of the things that she talks about. And I have been slowly implementing those things into my life. And those are the subtle changes that I have been making. I haven't made any drastic changes, because if I make drastic change, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to rebel.
Most people rebel.
Yeah. And so I've been doing slight adjustment here. But the meal planning one is the biggest one that's been the biggest help. Because I'm not just going to the refrigerator and, oh, what am I going to have? Oh, let me go grab this, because I don't have whatever. I don't keep junk food in the house anymore. And I've switched out my sugar to put in coconut sugar. It's the only sugar I have in the house. So if I want anything sweet, I've got to use the coconut sugar. So by making those changes, and it's just been subtle changes here and there. And when I go on road trips, I've got my meal prep stuff done. And I actually have a cooler in my vehicle that plugs in and keeps everything cold. And this is on my road trip when I'm going from Arizona to California and back again. And then when I get to California, that thing goes into my bedroom at my son's place and it gets plugged in, because it's got the cigarette adapter and it's got the AC adapter. Gets plugged in, it keeps my food cold. And then when it's time to go home, I just put that back in the car, plug it in, and I've got snacks and meals with me, so I don't need to stop and pick up junk food along the way, which is what I used to do, or go through drive-thrus.
Wow, I'm really proud of you.
And since I started doing that, I am down 7 inches off my waist.
7 inches, you guys. So it is off my waist. Small little things that we can do. And I think the thing is people think that when we say make these lifestyle changes, so Helen brought up this great point, is I don't expect people to go through and change everything all at one time. I think that's, as a coach and as a mentor and as a functional medicine specialist, is I really want you guys to make little changes. So, make sure that you're going to bed and sleeping. Sleeping is such a big deal. And if you're not sleeping, you can always contact me and send me a copy of your labs, and I can look over your labs. But oftentimes it's stress or cortisol that is keeping us up. So we can alleviate things like that instead of going on your phone and playing bingo or solitaire or reading Facebook. The things that I hear all the time. People play these games all the time, playing games on their phone, doing all these things. Then, you can put on a meditation app.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a sleep sounds app. There's all, if you want to be on your phone, let's do things that will help you get back into that sleep pattern.
My favorite app is Calm.
Calm?
Yep. And they have bedtime stories.
There you go.
So if you like Matthew McConaughey's voice,
oh yes,
he reads bedtime stories.
On Calm?
On Calm.
Sign me up.
But I got the lifetime access for it because at the time it was really cheap to get the lifetime. It was like $80, I think it was, for like lifetime access. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. He reads bedtime stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And then you've got his nice, calm, soothing voice, and it's all like, and you can feel yourself drifting off. It's like, no, I want to hear the end of the story.
I'm giving the tips, and Helen has the best one yet. Listen to Matthew's voice before you go to sleep. I think that's awesome. I'm going to have to download this app. Thanks for sharing that.
But it's also good too. And like you're talking about making little changes. So one of the little changes that I do is that on the Calm app, they have a 5-minute movement thing every day. There's this beautiful woman who does these 5-minute things, and it could be like one time it was like she was doing tongue exercises, doing this tongue exercise for 5 minutes, and like sticking your tongue out and moving it to the left, moving it to the right, moving it up, moving it down, turning it in a circle, making it open.
Can you see it?
It just says Calm on it. It's a blue
thing. And it says Calm in script writing.
Yep.
Okay.
But the cool thing is when you log in, it says take a deep breath. And it also has, how you do your breathing exercise? It has different breathing exercises. Do you want energy? Do you want to relax? So they have breathing exercises in there that you can do, and you can follow the little ball as it goes around saying, and this is inhale, and then it goes ding, exhale, ding, inhale. And you just follow this little ball around the circle.
It doesn't tell me how much it is. Hang on, let's see. Take a deep breath. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
And then you've got Daily with Jay. So you've got the guy Jay Shetty's on there, and he does like a 7-minute meditation, little spiel with a meditation in it every morning. So just doing those two things has helped start my morning in a really good way to do that. And they even have like little check marks that go across the top of the screen to say that you checked in that day and that you did that. And it'll even, if you wanted to, you can get it to notification.
Did you just say it has chipmunks?
Sorry?
Did you just say it had chipmunks on the top of the screen?
Check marks.
Check marks. Check marks. Chipmunks in Helen's accent sound just the same.
Well, that's a first for that one.
Chipmunks. All I have is this picture of these little chipmunks walking across the screen going, yay, Helen checked in today. Here's your little chipmunk. Now that would be a good app, guys. A chipmunk app.
But on Calm, they were all, I'm going to get us back on track. Deep breath. So they will do things like you can set up to send you notifications like, it will send you a notification. What are you most grateful for today? How are you feeling? It does check-ins with your feelings. How are you feeling? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling, it's got all this checklist thing that you can go through. I'm still trying to figure out where the M sound comes from.
I don't know where that came from, but all I saw was these dancing chipmunks on the top of your screen. So I actually logged into this, and it says, we base your personalized recommendation based on your goals. So it actually gives you develop gratitude, reduce anxiety, build self-esteem, improve your performance.
It's a fantastic app.
Performance means athleticism, right? Improve your performance.
It's whatever you want it to mean.
better sleep, increase happiness, and reduce stress.
But it's
So
all about positivity. It's all about
I love it.
finding your living in your best life now.
I love it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I love this app. I use it a lot.
Helen, it's too bad you didn't get have an affiliate fee with
Yeah, no, they don't do the affiliate thingy on
with Calm app, because I think all your listeners, including myself, should download this app. So I'm going to do that
It
today.
really is a really cool app. And I absolutely love it, love using it. They have different length meditations if you want to do meditations. They have different natural sounds that you can do. I mean, they've got like, I even typed in one time, I thought, well, let me see what they got on New Zealand. So I typed in Zealand because it brings up New Zealand. And it brought up like North Island sounds. And so I put it on there. And it's that, and it's in hearing all these different birds. I can hear the tui going on in there. It's like all these native sounds in New Zealand. Then all of a sudden you'll hear moo. Because in the north. And when I first heard that, I just started laughing. Like Nicole, I just started laughing. And of course, it starts to make him feel good because laughter is good for the system. It's a good internal aerobic exercise for your internal organs. And if you've got the good belly laughs going. But the North Island has a lot of cattle, a lot of cows in it, because that's a lot of where our dairy comes from. The South Island one, when you're listening to the one on the South Island, you'll hear bah, because the South Island has a lot of sheep on it. Yes, there are cows in the South Island. Yes, there are sheep in the North Island, but there's much sheep in the South Island.
I think I need that app to hear the sheep. I miss
my. Well, it's on the Calm app.
I love it. Well, yeah, I'll be looking up Zealand now. So that's great. I wish I could pull up a picture, because when we owned our ranch, we dyed our sheep, and so we had hot pink sheep and purple sheep and green sheep and yellow sheep. And so people would come by our ranch and drive by our ranch so they could see the colored sheep in our fields. And it just made people happy. And the ranch name was Feeling Groovy. So it was our Feeling Groovy part. And we even walked the sheep in a parade. So, well, more than one parade, but lots of parades. So anyways, let's go back to lifestyle for just a minute. Thanks for sharing that app.
My pleasure.
The other thing is getting some daily movement. Now, when I say movement, believe it or not, there are some people that should not exercise. And so some people are like, what do you mean? Like, you're in functional medicine. What do you mean don't exercise? I've never heard a functional medicine. Nobody's ever told me not to exercise. So if you are feeling exhausted, and you are feeling overwhelmed by the thought of getting up from the couch or your chair and just moving, there are probably underlying reasons of why you're feeling like that, other than you might be overweight, or you might have, some health issues. But oftentimes there's something underlying that's preventing you from actually moving. And so when I say movement, that can be degree of what your physical capability is. So we have something called adrenal glands. And when our adrenal glands get too taxed, too overworked, too stressed out, that's when you should not do a lot of exercise. You need to help repair those adrenal glands and get your adrenal glands functioning a little bit better before you do any kind of exercise. So if you're overweight and you're that type of person that is really tired, and you are on your Peloton biking like 100 miles an hour, or you're out walking, or you're out going and lifting heavy weights or even medium weights, and you're not losing weight, there is a reason other than just food. So that is a time that you should not be doing a lot of cardio and a lot of exercise, and movement comes into play. So when I say movement, you guys, some people just moving their arms in a circle is movement. Okay. Maybe you can't take a walk. If you can walk and you can't walk far, like I had a client who literally would be out of breath when she walked to her front door. She now walks 2 miles a day.
That's awesome.
So it's awesome. And so her next task was get her to the point where she wasn't out of breath. Once we started working on some of these underlying things that were going on with her, and it was her adrenal glands were just overworked and overtasked. Let's get you to the mailbox, because the mailbox was at the end of her driveway.
And how long was her driveway?
I don't know. I don't know, not too long. But it was from the front door to now let's get to the mailbox to let's get to the end of the street and back, right? So we literally started with walk 2 minutes and then walk 2 minutes back.
I mean, that's just taking that small, it's making that small change.
So sometimes these lifestyle things, when people say, oh, movement, that might just be yoga for you, or that might be swimming, or that could be hot yoga, or that could be like
chair yoga. Those that have issues with balance and stuff, they can do chair yoga.
Exactly. So Tai Chi is fantastic. So movement is a key. And so it doesn't have to be these, oh my gosh, I got to go to the gym and I got to go work out 5 days a week because that's what my neighbor Jim is doing. Right. And he's lifting all these weights and he's doing all this stuff. And my girlfriend said I have to do weight resistance training and somebody's telling me I have to do cardio. You guys, it's just starting to get movement in. And maybe it's doing something fun, like pickleball is all the craze. I love to play pickleball, but pickleball isn't exhaustion. Like it's not like some other sport. So maybe it's just,
I don't know. I've seen some of those pickleball players play.
Some of them get kind of crazy, but for the most part, if you have just a group of friends going and playing, it's usually just fun, right? So maybe it's playing ping pong. Ping pong can be exertion, right? Or playing air hockey, and going. So sometimes it can be just the littlest things to add some extra movement into your life. So sleep, movement, and then the biggie, food. So I can't tell you how many people tell me, oh, I have diabetes. I'm just going to take this pill and I don't have to make any changes. You guys, that's not a true statement. All they're going to do is up your medication and up your medication. And diabetes is something, and pre-diabetes
medication is no longer effective, and they're going to put you on something new, which has side effects again.
Exactly. And pre-diabetes and diabetes is rampant in our country right now. So just rampant. And what's sad and crazy to me is how young we're starting to see kids as young as 6, 7, 8 years old be diagnosed with pre-diabetes and diabetes. And it starts with you. It starts with making those small changes in your house. Like Helen said, meal prepping. I'm big on meal prepping. You can go to, goodvibesmealprepping.com. You can see all of that. But meal prepping is a good way to have some healthy foods in your refrigerator so you're not eating the junk food. Not having as much gluten in your life, cutting back on a lot of those carbs and eating more protein and less dairy. People are so afraid to give up cheese. I think that's the number one thing that I hear. Like, oh, I can give up crackers and I could give up potato chips and I could give up this, but don't you dare. I'm going to hold on to my block of cheese. Like it is like everything. This is
that's
my
me
cheese.
With chocolate.
And I am not giving up this cheese. You have to pry it out of my hands like crazy. Like you can't, they don't want to give up cheese. And so it makes me kind of laugh because we are, I've decided that Americans are addicted to cheddar cheese.
How much sugar is in cheddar cheese?
Oh, I don't even know how much. Should I Google that? I bet you there's sugar in cheddar.
Let's Google that because
I wonder.
Because we know that sugar is addictive.
I don't know if there's any in there, but let's see. Let's just see. Oh, there's not much.
Yeah, 1 ounce slice. It says here is 0.1 gram.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of sugar.
But then people don't eat just one slice.
They don't eat just one slice.
Yeah.
The problem with cheddar cheese is it's actually processed.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes through this whole processing, and our bodies, most people don't do well with dairy. A lot of people say, oh, I'm sensitive to dairy. Well, you are.
I can tell you from my experience in New Zealand, I can eat all the cheese I want. I can eat all the bread I want, and I have no reactions. I come to the States, I'm eating, if I go to bread, because I love bread and I love cheese, but if I come here and do that, I bloat. I get very bloated from it. And it's because the processing here is so different to processing in other countries. So now when I'm going and I want a cheese fix, I'm looking for cheeses that have been imported. I know they're a little more expensive, but I also know that my body's going to like them and it's not going to reject them. So that's how I get my cheese in. And I'm not eating just the cheddar stuff. I'm looking usually like a brie or what's the other one? What's the one that Camembert is the other one. are the ones that I like, and I would go for the imported ones rather than the domestic ones. So I'm not the domestic cheese person. I go outside for that because of the reaction the domestic stuff has in my body.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that it's so hard to get rid of cheese is actually addictive, you guys. It really, especially cheddar cheese. The first thing is it's really high in salt. And not necessarily our good salts. Like we want to have mineral salts in our body, Himalayan salt, sea salt, those types of things, right? Iodized salt gives us that salty taste, but actually isn't good for our body. So cheese is super high in salt, and it can trigger more cravings for salty foods, right? So it's interesting when we have something that is giving us what we want, sometimes we want more of it. And so it's kind of like eating potato chips. You don't eat one, you have to eat like a handful or half a bag or a bag in some cases. And salt is the main reason for it. It's not because we want those potatoes or the crunch. It's usually the salt in there. Cheese is also really high in fat. And so studies
Is it the good fat or the bad fat that it's high in?
The what?
Is it the good fat or the bad fat that it's high?
Bad fat. So studies have actually found that fatty foods can affect our brains in a similar way that drugs do.
Interesting. What about goat cheese? Is that good? Because I like goat cheese.
Goat cheese is good for us, but like the bad fat.
In moderation.
Yeah, in moderation. But eating fats actually causes us to release dopamine in our brains, and it gives us the sense of reward, which pushes us to repeat that behavior over and over and over again. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Cheese also contains something called casein. So
I've heard of casein. Please remind me what that is.
So, well, it's fragments of something called casomorphins. And they're kind of like morphine-like substances that attach to the same brain receptors as drugs do after you eat dairy.
Wow. As soon as you put the morphine thingy onto the casein thing, I thought I was going to ask if that's like morphine, and you went and answered that question. So
right. So the effect is milder than recreation drugs, right? But thank goodness. But it's strong enough to make it extremely difficult to quit dairy.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting? Because our bodies will so we combine salt, we combine fat, and we combine casein, and we have this perfect recipe for actually an addictive food.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much food that we eat that is addictive. I mean, sugar is highly addictive.
Yeah.
And that's why some people have trouble breaking away from the stuff that has sugar in it, and switching the sugar out for something else.
Exactly. So sugar, it's so funny because we're programmed, we're going to go on a diet. I hate that word diet, but we're going to go on a diet. So we've got to give up sugar.
It's just die with a T.
What?
It's just die with a T.
Right. And so people are used to hearing, you got to give up the sugar, but they don't hear you have to give up your cheese. And 99% of people are like, I'm telling you that if they're listening to this, they're going, Nicole, I'm not giving it up. But if you want to feel your best, I want you to challenge yourself. Here's the cheese challenge of the day. I want you to give up cheese for 30 days. Okay? We can do anything for 30 days. And here's what's interesting when you start giving up dairy and you stop giving up cheese. We are getting ready. It's September. What happens by October, November, December? We start getting colds, weather changes, flus, viruses, all that jazz. It's the time of year that we're all heading into winter, and we're just heading into fall. But what's the number one thing when you get a cold? How many people get this? Sinus infection.
Sinuses, yeah.
And you feel it here, and you get headaches. You feel it here, above your eyes, like all in this area, and you get super.
Your head gets disconnected from your body because that's how it feels.
And then you get this mucusy cough, right? I can promise you that if you take cheese and you take dairy out of your life in small increments, the less that you eat, the less that will happen to you.
Yep.
So, but I think it's fascinating that, people never want to give up their cheese, and yet there's reasons. It's very, very addictive, which most people don't ever think of I should write a blog post about this.
I'm writing that down. Blog post about cheese.
There you go. Blog post about cheese and why it's so addictive. You know, so, and there's so many things that you can do. Like harder cheeses are better for you. You guys, if you're going to have cheese, like Parmesan cheese is better for you than the soft cheddar cheese. And that we want to stay away from those processed cheeses. Anything.
So what about something like Camembert and Brie, which are my favorite cheeses?
They're
next to goat cheese, but I get the imported ones, not the domestic ones.
If you get imported ones, they're better for you. But 30 days, let's go cheese free. If you need
I can do that in a heartbeat.
if you need a little bit of cheese, you guys, I'm going to challenge you only to use Parmesan cheese for the month, and you can use nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is your friend. It tastes like cheese. You can put it on veggies. You can do all kinds of things with it. So look on Google and go, nutrition. What can I do with nutritional yeast? It's fantastic on all kinds of things. So here is a quick little cheesy sesame spread. I'm going to give you a little recipe real quick. Okay. You're going to take about a half cup of sesame seeds, half a cup of sunflower seeds, 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast. I'd make it 3 because I always add a little extra. A garlic clove, 2 teaspoons of miso paste, and the juice of half of a lemon and a pinch of salt. You're going to blend it all together until creamy in your blender, and you will have an amazing cheesy tasting.
What's after the garlic clove?
That big, like.
No. What in the recipe? What's after the garlic clove?
What's that? Oh, 2 teaspoons of miso paste.
Miso paste.
Yeah.
And then blend.
And it will take some of your cheese cravings away. The other way to take away, if you have some sugar cravings, because sugar, we don't want to have all those processed sugars, is eat one of 2 things. Can you guess what they are?
Chocolate.
Now, if you have a sugar craving, you're going to eat chocolate. That's
dark chocolate, because dark chocolate has less sugar than the other stuff. I like 80% cacao upwards.
Okay. So to get rid of your sugar cravings, there are 2 things that you can eat. The first one, and this one works every single time, is eat half an avocado. Good healthy fats, and it will take your sugar cravings away. I'll give you 3 things.
What's the second one?
The second thing you can eat is a kiwi.
Okay, I'm going to correct you on this one right here, right now. As somebody from New Zealand, if you say you're going to eat a kiwi is a native bird of New Zealand, which is an endangered species, so you can't eat those. A kiwi is also somebody from New Zealand, so you're a cannibal. It is kiwi fruit. It is one word. Kiwi fruit. It is one word.
Okay. Well, you're going to eat a kiwi fruit because we don't want to eat a kiwi. We don't want to eat a bird or a person. So we want to eat a kiwi fruit.
But then New Zealand went and screwed it up by bringing out the golden kiwi.
Okay, we're going to eat a kiwi fruit.
Now, I'll tell you about the golden kiwi. The golden kiwi, what do they call them? Yeah, the sun gold kiwi fruit. It is a furless kiwi fruit. So think of the green that has fur on it. So it has no hair on it, no fur on it. It has a smooth skin. When you slice it open, it is yellow on the inside, and it is a little sweeter than the green.
Nice. Well, I'm sure that would help with the sugar cravings as well. But yes. Eat a kiwi.
Fruit.
And that will take away your sugar craving. The other thing you can do is eat a piece of protein.
This is a kiwi.
There you go. So, of course, I come onto somebody's podcast that is like, knows what a kiwi is, a kiwi bird. So, or eat a piece of protein. So eating a hard-boiled egg, piece of chicken, piece of steak, piece of hamburger, protein will also help take those sugar cravings away. So
let me ask you a quick question when you're talking about the protein and all that, like hard-boiled eggs. I always hard-boil a dozen eggs at one time in my Instapot.
Good.
And then keep them in the refrigerator for when I need them. In the middle of the night when somebody wakes me up to go outside and I have trouble getting back to sleep, sometimes I get up and I go and eat a hard-boiled egg.
Yep. I think I told you that. Eat some protein before you go to bed.
No, this is in the middle of the night when I wake up and I can't get back to sleep.
Okay. Well, you can
Yeah.
eat it before you go to bed or after you go to bed if you wake up. But eating protein will definitely is much
Help
better
with the cortisols and stuff. Yeah.
it will help balance out your cortisol. Yep.
Okay, I'll keep doing that one. I don't
So
have to change that
if
one.
you are that person who wakes up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning and you're up for an hour or two, I want you to eat a piece of protein right before you go to sleep. It can be a hard-boiled egg, it can be a beef stick, it can be a piece of chicken, it could be half a hamburger. That doesn't mean with the bun and all this stuff
No,
on it.
we're just talking just the meat.
Just the meat. We just
Did you know that hamburgers come from pigs? Have you seen that TikTok?
What?
Sorry, when you mentioned hamburger, I had this TikTok go through my head where some woman was sitting in the car and she'd been placing an order with the waitress, and the waitress asked her how she wanted her hamburger cooked and mentioned something about the cow or something like that. And she looked at her and goes, no, hamburgers come from pigs. It's ham. It comes from pigs. It's a hamburger, so therefore it's made with pork. And I'm like, I don't know what she'd been smoking that day, but okay. I can see her logic, but
all right. And if you're opting to lose some weight, you should eat about 1.5 grams of protein per pound that you weigh a day.
1.5.
1 to 1.5.
Oh, sorry, 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound.
Yeah, if you're aiming for weight loss. Okay.
I'm going to go work that one out later because I have no idea what my weight is right now. That's going to have to wait till tomorrow morning.
So sleep, movement, and taking out the bad sugars, the bad oils, and cheese.
But it doesn't have to be a drastic change. Just pick one thing to change and go and change that and get used to doing that. And then when you're comfortable with that and it just becomes automatic to you, then bring in another thing. And that's how I've done this over the last 2 to 3 years that Nicole's been coming on the show, is just making one change, getting used to it or getting into the rhythm of using, coconut sugar instead of regular processed sugar. I'm using Himalayan salt over iodized salt. Just making these single little changes along the way. It's amazing how, what I was eating a year ago to what I'm eating today is night and day difference because of these small changes that have been made along the way. But I get used to one thing that's changed. Then when I'm comfortable with it, I add another thing in. So it's not going in and going, oh my gosh, all right, all the sugar out, or I'm not clearing out the pantry or anything else. I'm using what I've got. Like I had this one protein powder that after we did the food label episode, we did an episode on food labels, and she said there's the Gower gum. And so I go and I look at my favorite protein powder, which was a chocolate flavored one, because I'm a chocoholic. And I looked at it and it had Gower gum in there. And I was like, damn it. And I thought, well, I've got 6 canisters of the stuff, and they were 2-pound canisters. And so I said to Nicole, I says, and when I got close to when I started the last one, I said, I'm on that last canister. What can I replace it with? And so she was able to give me some recommendations on different protein powders that I could use to replace. To get that chocolate flavor, I had to add in cacao powder to get the chocolate flavor, because these ones that she recommended are flavorless. They had no flavor to them. So we made it chocolatey by adding in cacao powder. But I made that switch, and it has made a difference. So it's just making the little changes. You don't have to go in and clear out everything. It's like removing my plastics out of the house and replacing it with glassware and stuff. It's a gradual change. Gradual changes
make a big difference in our lives. So,
so
those are 3 simple things, but don't just think you guys can take a pill and fix everything. Take a look at what's really going on. Start eliminating those little things, and I promise it's going to make a huge difference.
Well, thank you, Nicole, for coming on. It's so good to have you back again. I've missed having you on the show.
I know I've missed being on too, and I'm so glad I'm back as well. So,
yes, she is back.
If you have me, I'll be back again next month.
Of course we're going to have you. We're living our best life now. We can't do that if we don't have our health. I mean, people say that time is the biggest commodity that we have. It's not. It's your health. You can have all the time in the world, but if your health is not at a place where you can get out there and enjoy what you want to enjoy and everything else, you have nothing.
That's right.
So get out there, take care of your health so that when you've got that time freedom, you have the health to be able to go out and enjoy these things and get those adventures going that you want to do, all that stuff that you want to do, you are now in a healthy place to do it. Because like I said, if you don't have the, I'm going to go to, where was we? We're in the Peppermill in Reno, Peppermill Casino in Reno. And Brad and I were sitting there waiting to go into the restaurant. And they had this beautiful, one of those virtual boards that change. And this one was like scrolling through these different beautiful places around the world it was showing. There were these 3 elderly people sitting next to us. And one of them was on a walker, one of them was in a wheelchair, and one of them was more ambulatory than the other 2. And they're sitting there and they're looking at these pictures. And they go, oh, those are such beautiful pictures. And they go, yeah, we're never going to get there. I really wanted to go, oh, that's such and such a place. I really wanted to go there, but I'm not going to get there. And I'm just like, and it broke my heart that these people had these dreams to go there, but because of their health, they couldn't do it. And they were talking about their health and all the issues that were coming up and everything else, which was preventing them from doing this travel that they wanted to do. And I was, my heart was breaking because their health prevented them from going. So don't let your health prevent you from doing it, following your dreams and doing what you want to do. Get on the phone with Nicole, talk with Nicole, get your lab work done so you know what's going on in your body, and listen to the advice that she has, because she is awesome with her advice. And you can even go back through all the previous episodes we've done with Nicole and take notes and everything else, but she knows what she's talking about. I've been implementing her stuff that she talks about on the show over the last 2 or 3 years now. 3 years, isn't it?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I've been making these small changes, and I have noticed the difference in my own body, in my energy levels, and my sleep, everything, with how I approach things. I've got
the calm app.
Sorry,
I said that's because you have the calm app.
that was one of those things I implemented along the way with dealing with stress. And if you can't do exercise, they even in that thing they even have like a daily move, and it's 5 minutes and it's low impact. And you can do it sitting or standing, and it could be something as simple as like sticking your tongue out of your mouth and going up and down and sideways with it. And she even had this thing there where she wrapped a tissue around her tongue to hang on to it. I can't remember what we had to do with it, but I'm just like sitting there. Okay, she said to do that, so and it was just amazing, just getting the tongue exercising. I didn't have to move any other part of my body except my tongue.
So if you want to breathe well and properly, put your tongue on the top of your mouth and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you'll do some deep breathing.
And did you know that you can take your tongue, if you've got a sneeze coming on, take your tongue and press it to the roof of your mouth, and it can prevent the sneeze?
I did not know that one.
You just take your whole tongue and press it up against the roof of your mouth really, really hard till the urge to sneeze goes away.
There you go.
Yeah. We can sit here all day and talk about all sorts of things.
We can give you all kinds of tips.
Yeah, all the stuff we've both learned over the years from different things and trial and error and stuff that we've experienced ourselves. But Nicole here is the expert. So if you need help to make those slight changes, just give her a call.
There you go. Just give me a call.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This has been a very interesting topic, and I've got some great recipes down here.
All right.
So we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Until then, go out and have a super